Kia ora guys, welcome back to science. At the end of term 1, I know that we finished off with Living World. We weren't quite finished, but we were nearing the end. But we have just stopped that and we're going to start on a different topic called Astronomy, and then we're going to carry on with Living World when we get back into school. But for now, this astronomy topic is purely a research topic, and so it's something that you guys can do easily at home. This video is longer than what you're used to, but you'll only have to watch one video for this whole unit. So I'm going to give you guys a rundown on how this research assignment is going to go. So for the first 3 weeks of term 2, starting today, we'll be doing an astronomy research assignment. And there's going to be 2 tasks that you can choose from, and out of those 2 tasks, you can only choose to do 1. The first task is to research an astronomical feature, and the second task that you can choose from is research and plan how to colonize Mars. So again, you just choose one of these 2 tasks. Now you're allowed to work in pairs with one other student from our class, but please maintain social distancing. Do not go to each other's houses to complete this work. You can complete it online and log into each other's Google Slides or something like that. So let's look at option 1, task 1, research an astronomical feature. So this task is for you to create an educational resource on an astronomical feature. Now, most people do a PowerPoint presentation, but if you really want to, you can make a poster, or you can make a model, or you can create a report. But normally people will do a PowerPoint presentation. And this educational research will educate people about your chosen astronomical feature. Now, in your resource or your PowerPoint, you must describe the astronomical feature, discuss why the astronomical feature is interesting, explain if or how astronauts and scientists plan to investigate this astronomical feature, and support your explanation with evidence. So show us some photos or some diagrams or other visual representations. Now, your report has to be in your own words. Do not copy and paste from the internet. Now, on Lemonade, there's a link for Lemonade on Google Classroom, and on Lemonade you'll find this supplementary booklet, and you can also find a template on Lemonade. Now, Mr. Presland, he's the head of junior science. He's made a more comprehensive video on this, and so we're just going to take the time to watch this video now because all the other Year 9 students will have seen this video too.
Hey everyone, hope you've had good holidays, a relaxing break, and are ready to get back into some learning in term 2. For the first 3 weeks of term 2, you're going to be doing a astronomy assignment. This assignment's going to be research based, and at the end of it you're going to create a PowerPoint presentation based on your research. You're going to have a chance to either work individually or with one other person from your class. The universe is a massive place. In our galaxy alone, the Milky Way, there are around 300 billion stars and around 100 billion different planets, among billions of other things. If you want to get a greater appreciation of the size of the universe and of the size of our planet in comparison to things in the universe, I suggest you go to this website here called scaleoftheuniverse.com. On it you'll be able to look at Earth compared to other planets, so compared to Mars here or Venus, our closest neighbours, or compared to some of the moons of some of the bigger planets. And this bottom bar down the end, you can scroll out or in and start comparing and looking at how the size of the or how different things in the universe are sized. So there's Earth. If we bring it all the way out here, here's our sun. So you can see we're just a little speck compared to our sun. And if we keep going out, we'll start seeing galaxies and then the greater universe. So this is a really cool resource. The other thing you can do with this is just click on any of the planets, or stars, say here the sun, and it'll give you a little bit of information. So it's a real cool resource just to gain a greater appreciation of the scale of our universe.
So if you're stuck on which astronomical feature to research on, you could use this resource to kind of explore a bit more and see some really good examples of features that you can look into, okay?
In this assignment, you're going to choose one astronomical feature and you're going to create a PowerPoint to educate the rest of the class on that topic. When we say astronomical feature, what we mean is this could be a planet. So a planet in our solar system, such as like Earth, Mars, Jupiter. It could be a star like our sun. It could be our moon, or it could be one of the other moons in our solar system, such as Io or Titan or Ganymede. If you're going to choose something outside of our solar system, please check with your teacher first just to make sure it's appropriate. Some things are a little bit harder to research than others. To do your research, you're probably mainly going to be looking online. However, feel free to use any books or any experts in the household or education paper, anything like that. All works. So you're going to create a PowerPoint. The audience for your PowerPoint is going to be your classmates, so a class of high school students. In this, you're going to describe your astronomical feature and give reasons why it's interesting. So if we look here, first thing you'll do is describe the astronomical feature, so let's give some basic information about it. You're going to discuss why it's interesting. And lastly, you're going to explain if and how astronauts and scientists plan to investigate this astronomical feature, or how they're doing it already. Feel free to use photos, diagrams, any visual representations to aid with your presentation. Your PowerPoint should be no longer than 5 slides, and we don't want to cram a million words on a single page, a single slide. We want the font to be large enough so someone in the back of the class could read it. Here are a list of possible topics, so you could do any of the planets in our solar system, any of the inner ones, outer ones, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Earth, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Do it on a dwarf planet such as Pluto. You could do it on the moon, our sun, any of the other moons within our solar system, or down here, the Milky Way, Halley's Comet, any of those things would also be great research topics. It's really important that any work you do within your research is your own and you haven't copied it off either the internet or your classmate. You must ensure that all work is written in your own words and that you haven't copy and pasted it from either the internet or from another student. You are allowed to work in a group, so you're allowed to work together with that one other person, but you're not allowed to take someone else's work and pretend it's your own, okay? Alright, to make this a little bit easier, what I've done is I've created this template here, which tells you what you should put on each slide. So first slide, you'll just put the name of your astronomical feature and the different team members. Here you'd give a brief description of your feature, so the main ideas, the main facts about it. Here you're going to put some interesting facts. Put a minimum of 2, but feel free to write more than 2 on the slide if you want. You're going to explain to us what makes your feature interesting, what is unique about it, what makes it much different to other features, anything here, whatever comes to mind, whatever you think is really, really interesting, tell us about it. And lastly, we want you to explain how astronomers investigate or plan to investigate this astronomical in the future or presently. I've added one extra slide where you can put any extra research you want as well. So anything else interesting you come upon, just chuck it on this slide.
Okay, so remember I said you have 2 options. The first option is to research an astronomical feature, and the second option is to research and plan how to colonize Mars. So with this task, you have to create a presentation on how humans could one day colonize Mars. Because this is a huge and very complicated topic, because scientists are still not sure how they're going to do this, only plan one particular aspect of colonizing Mars. So, some examples of the different aspects you could research is how humans could get to Mars, or how humans could survive on Mars, or how humans could explore Mars. So whichever aspect you choose to explore, you have to come up with your own sub-questions or guiding questions to answer, okay? Now, there's also a supplementary booklet on Lemonade, and some exemplars from other students from last year can be found on Lemonade too. And Mr. Presland has also created a video, like the other one, describing this topic in more detail.
Hey, Nance. Hope you've had a great break and a relaxing holidays. and are ready to get back in some learning in Term 2. For the first 3 weeks of Term 2, we're going to be doing an astronomy project. This one's mainly going to be based on research, and you're going to have a chance to either work by yourself or with a couple of friends. This one's all based around this idea around colonising Mars. This project I created last year and was inspired by watching the movie The Martian and also a TV series called The Expanse. And it's mainly based around this idea that humans one day will inhabit different planets in our solar system and other solar systems, with Mars probably being the first planet we'll try and live on. The reasons for living on a planet are probably quite complex. They may be economic, maybe to make some money, mine some minerals. It may be just because we're curious and want to see what it's like. It may be about doing scientific research. There's a vast number of reasons we may want to do it, or the worst reason probably is that we've destroyed Earth and we need to find somewhere else that we can live on. How this project's going to work is you're going to come up with your own plan, how humans one day could colonize Mars. This obviously isn't a small undertaking, it's a massive undertaking. So you're not going to plan the entire thing, you're just going to plan one particular aspect of this plan. There are 3 different aspects. Firstly is how humans could get to Mars. Obviously getting to Mars is a massive undertaking by itself, and getting a robot there isn't too difficult, but getting humans there is a much, much bigger task. Next thing, once we get there, it's obviously not the same as Earth. It doesn't have a particularly thick atmosphere, it doesn't have oxygen, so therefore how are we going to survive on Mars once we've arrived? And lastly, we've got to Mars, we're surviving on Mars, but now we want to explore it and do some research. So how are we going to explore Mars? How are we going to get around? In order to make your job a bit easier, I've written some guiding questions for each of those big ideas. In your research, I want you to go through and answer those questions. Write them in a draft document, which I'll show you in a moment. But feel free to expand and go beyond these questions as well. They're just there to give you a bit of structure to make it a bit easier. You're allowed to steal ideas off existing ideas that are already out there. I know there's the Elon Musk stuff and there's the MarsX stuff. So there's a lot of people who've already thought this through. There's some good TED Talks. Feel free to take those ideas as well. But you must put them in your own words. So the output for this project, so what you're going to produce, you're going to come up with a PowerPoint presentation around one of these aspects. You are going to either do this individually, so one person, or with a group of 2 or 3 people. This presentation, I'm not too sure yet if it will be presented or not. It maybe depends how long this lockdown lasts for, but that is a possibility. All the information in your slides must be written in your own words, and you must record a list of references, so where that information came from. Here are the guiding questions. I won't go through them in this video, but feel free to read them afterwards. There's a couple of extension questions here if you want to take it a bit further. Lastly, I thought I'd just show you what the output would look like. Okay, so this is some student work from last year. So you'll be shared 2 documents. The first will be your draft document where you record a lot of your information. Here what the students have done is they've listed the question and they've put information below it. Okay, this is a draft, so it can be a bit messy, it can be copy and pasted, it doesn't have to be perfectly in your own words. This is just a working document. So here we have all the questions, answers, and at the bottom of this document the students have, you can add pictures and stuff if you want as well, and at the bottom they have a references to a bibliography where they've recorded where they got the information from. So once you've done the draft document, you will then create a PowerPoint slide. Here's some from boys last year, Rohit, Alfie and Jara. Here they have a question, they have the information, and then they have just a small little thing of which student created that. At the end, they've added pictures, they've added lots of different things, and at the end they've added a bibliography of where they got their resources. These guys did a really good job and have heaps and heaps of resources. I wouldn't expect you to get as many if you didn't need it. So, your next steps, what you should do. Firstly, work out if you want to work out by yourself or with a few classmates. I'll need this information in the next couple of days, but I'll get back to you about how I'm going to collect that. Once you've worked out if you're working with yourself or your group, you can decide which of those 3 big ideas you are going to tackle. And once you've done that, you'll have these documents which you can then start inputting information on. In terms of a timeline, you'll have about 3 weeks to do this. So it's going to start on Wednesday this week, which would be the 15th. So 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It would be due on the 6th of May.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. So, back to our class. First things first, what do? So I would like you guys to answer these questions on the post that I put on Google Classroom today. So, the first question you're going to answer on the comment section is, which task, 1 or 2, are you going to do? The second question you're going to answer on the comment section is, who will you be working with, okay? And I need to know by today, right? Or just as soon as you watch this video, tell me, okay? And the second thing is, I wanted to let you guys know that I'll be available every Tuesday and Thursdays from 10 to 11 a.m. on Google Meet. I'm really looking forward to knowing which of this task you're going to do, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday this week. Till next time, bye!